We're going to zero in on two things. What steps you need to take to get to whatever your target destination may be, and then you'll learn the process of how to do that. That's what we're going to work on. We might not get it all in today. You need to be able to do what's called reverse planning. My goal is point Z, so you figure out, okay, so let's say your goal is to finish high school. Your end result is being on stage with a diploma in your hand, right? So now the step before that is senior year. You have to make sure you have taken all of your classes and gotten all of your credits in order. Pay whatever fees need to be paid, whatever has to happen in the office. Before that, junior year, between junior and senior year, you're passing all of your standardized tests that make you eligible to graduate, and whatever other requirements you may need for graduation. Mostly it's credits and those tests being passed. Before that, if you got to choose the career and technical education or jumpstart pathway, or the traditional education pathway, because that's what the laws and the guidelines for education are in Louisiana. You do that as a sophomore. Ninth grade, you're kind of finding yourself. So if you've planned in reverse, that means each step of the way, you know what you need to be doing for your end result. You know how to climb that ladder, and you need to make sure you're making progress with as much of what you can do as possible. So if your goal is a career path, you want to reverse plan that. Okay, cool. So if you've done your career research correctly, you know a general idea of what the work environment is like. You know a general idea of the education requirements, whether it's a 2-year degree, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, which is a 4-year degree, an advanced degree, which is a master or above, and so forth and so on. So then once you know, okay, I need to go to a college, okay, well, how do I get to that college? Well, you apply. Okay, so now we're saying, okay, how do I choose which one to apply to? That's an example of reverse planning. So we talked about some inappropriate reasons for choosing a college, list 3. And I gave you a place to do that in the form. I asked you to name 3 local colleges or institutes of higher learning, which you're able to earn the skill or trade. I should have put universities as well, and I still will. So I'll put colleges / universities. Now, the reason we're including the local option, because remember, I've always told you, you want options. You don't want to be stuck having to go to Backyard University. You don't want to be stuck having to go to the junior college or one of the places with no selective admissions. That means you're there with people who may not be as serious about education. See, here's the problem. Here's one of the issues you're going to face at an open admission college or institution or university. They letting everybody in, right? So you have a lot of people who show up to find out this isn't for me, or they can't cut it. So now you're in a sea of people who are serious, not serious, and everything between. There's lots of distractions. It doesn't make those people bad people, but you don't want that to be your only option if you feel like you would function better in a different environment. Now, the local option means, hey, you're in your hometown. You have home court advantage. You know that can be good or bad. Somebody tell me, why can that be good? Why can it be good to be in your hometown and go to college? Raise your hand if you want to respond. Yes, sir.
You don't have to buy any dorms, anything like that. So
Okay, you don't have to pay. So they have housing fees at college. You're correct. They do pay a small. They do charge you a dorm fee. You want a nicer dorm, they charge you a little bit more. You want an on-campus apartment, they charge you a little more. Or if you do decide you want your own apartment, that costs a little bit more. Very good. What else? You have your support system. Good. You were paying attention last time. What else?
You
Out-of-state fees. Okay, my girl been, all right, we're making some progress. One of my young ladies said you don't have to pay out-of-state fees. If you go to college out-of-state, they do charge you additional fees. Now, if you have a scholarship, by the way, when you have a high enough GPA, they waive your application fees in many cases. You have a high enough, because they want you, they need you there, okay? Remember, like I told you, it's a business. They can exist without students, but you have to be the type of a student where you're attracting people who want to do business with you as a student, because you are in a business, or you're entering into a form of business. In that particular case, you're the customer. Now, who can think of, and this might not, it might be beyond your realm of thinking. It was beyond my realm of thinking as a kid. Let me tell you a story about me. I went to Louisiana Tech University starting out. I think I may have told you last time some reasons why I chose that university. And I don't want to talk too much about Louisiana Tech. It's more about me. Basically, though, my father died when I was 16. I was looking at life as a young man the best I could. I should have sought after some advice from some family members who had gone to college already. That is a mistake, to keep your mouth shut when you need knowledge and information. Ask people who are knowledgeable about things that they have already done that you're going to do to minimize your mistakes. I should have asked for help in selecting the right college. I should have asked for advice. I should have asked for thoughts. Now, for young men, that can be harder than for young ladies, because we have a little bit of a different and stronger sense of pride and not wanting to ask people for help. As long as you're asking a reputable source who has your best interest in mind, you'll be okay. So when it's time for you to go to college, for example, your uncle Brian is going to be a good resource for that, because he's a very logical person. He ain't going to play games. He's going to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do. Okay? Now I'm using him for an example because I know his family. But anyhow, what I did, basically, to make a long story short, I'm going to go into more detail one day. One day we're just going to sit and I'm just going to tell you the whole story. But the main thing I was thinking was, Dad died. My mom had my grandmother living with us who had fallen sick. I felt like, well, I don't want to ask Mom for anything. They offered me a full scholarship. They arranged a little weekend where you can go up there and hang out and stuff and see what the campus was like. It was something different. They had some cute females. Okay, bet I'm in. And it was better organized than one of the local universities. And I'll go ahead and say it. At the time, Southern University, this is back in the 90s, so we had less technology than what we had. Southern did a lot of things on paper. There were long lines to stand in for a lot of things. For me at the time, without the guidance from my father, which I was used to having, I could not handle that. That does not make Southern a bad institution or university. As a matter of fact, if I could do it over again, I probably would have just gone to either Southern or Grambling or some HBCU, but that's neither here nor there. That time has passed. But for me, I think another big issue was tech made everything easy. Meaning, get online, apply, boom, you're accepted. You want a scholarship? Do you have the qualifications? Boom, you got it. You want to visit the campus? Fill out this online form. We'll see you in whatever month that was. You're ready for school. And I'm like, my homeboys are going to be standing in line until September. I got everything done now. Okay. That was better for me at the time. Or at least that's what I thought. So, I went to Tech and I did well at Tech. I made straight A's in everything. At the time, Ruston was a very small city. It's grown some. But Ruston, Louisiana, hello, sir. Ruston, Louisiana was very small. There was a used car lot. There was a Walmart. There was used car lot, Walmart. Chinese restaurant, McDonald's, Taco Bell, gas station, and railroad tracks. That's it. So my problem became, which wasn't a problem at all, my perceived problem became, okay, I'm homesick. It ain't enough. I didn't understand North Louisiana people at the time, and I got bored because it's such a slow moving place. And I came back to Baton Rouge and went to LSU. I transferred to LSU and almost flunked out. So now we're talking about the disadvantages of being in your hometown, because I left, did excellent starting out. I came back and got distracted. So now I know all of the places to go and waste time. I know all of my old female acquaintances, and I know how Baton Rouge females move and operate, because that's what I was driven by as a 17, 18-year-old young man. Chasing females. You know how we are in Baton Rouge. We have to have fancy shoes and jewelry and rims and cars, and we have to show off. And Southern people, I don't know if y'all realize it or not, but compared to the rest of the country, we're actually very arrogant, very self-centered, very flashy and gaudy. Gaudy means you just do stuff that it's like, hey, look at this, look at my jewelry, look at my hair, look at my gold teeth, that type of thing. So disadvantage number one, and it may be different for you, by the way, but for me, I was too distracted. There were too many distractions. 2, I had a lack of discipline to avoid the distractions. 3, for me, and this is not necessarily in specific, this is more going to be from my story, but I decided to start working instead of just focusing on school. So I think your biggest issue is going to be distraction. Oh, here's another thing. Louisiana Tech's freshman dorms were very uncomfortable. You see these walls in here, that the way those bricks look, that's how the walls look, but they were green. You see this floor? They had this kind of floor. The walls looked just like that, with the glass and steel. And they had a railroad track right next to the dorm, so you could hear a train pass through at night. The beds were hard, almost, it looks like what I've seen on prison movies. So here's the thing, believe it or not, in college, that's a good thing. You don't need to be comfortable. You're not there to be comfortable. You're there to be uncomfortable. I need success. I need this degree. I need to get up out this hard bed. It's hard to sleep in anyway. Good. Get up and go study. Get up and go to class on time. Problem with being here in town is easy, especially if you stay at your people's house. That's going to be one disadvantage. If you don't have that drive and determination, it's easy to stay in the bed and pull the covers back and hit the snooze button. Mama got that home cooking. Homeboy and homegirl around the corner. You know all the clubs and stuff. You know all the environments with all the negative stuff. You know where it is. You're in your comfort zone. At one point or another, to get where you're going to have to go in life, there's going to be a period of discomfort. So that is going to be one disadvantage. Everything will pretty much fall in that category, though, as far as your disadvantages for your local options. So with that being said, we're also going to name 3. We're not going to say out of state. Well, we'll say non-local or out of state colleges, universities, or institutes of higher learning in which you're able to learn the skill, trade, or degree which you are interested in. So either way, I want you to understand both. Local options and non-local options. So I asked you what some inappropriate reasons are for choosing a college. What are some appropriate options for choosing a college, university, or institute of higher learning. Number one, they need to have your major or skill or trade that you're interested in. Number two, something has to be to your advantage. Not just because your homegirl goes there, not because you like the party life, not just because they have cool colors. And yes, people have chosen college for that reason. And let me tell you another inappropriate reason to not. Here's an inappropriate reason. It's cheap. Okay, cool. You got a scholarship. You have a free ride at one place. Don't let that limit you, though, because there's always options to pay for college. I will teach you those options. But don't limit yourself just because a school is less expensive than another one. Make sure you write your responses in complete sentences. Now, how much does it cost to go to each college, university, or institute that you have chosen? Remember, I'm gearing you up to write essays. You need to write in complete sentences. Write your response in complete sentences. What are the entrance / admission requirements for the 3 institutions you chose? So they're going to have a GPA requirement, maybe 2.5, it may be 3.0. It depends on how competitive the institution is. I remember what I was going to get. I was going to get my energy drink. As a side note for anybody listening, I was telling my kids about how when you get older, you do things and then you forget why you, like you go in a room and you forget why you went. So I went over to my desk to get my energy drink and I forgot while I was there. That's why I need my energy drink. Pardon me for a moment, please. Let me get myself right. Let me get my life together. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. This is going to be you one day. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you don't drink coffee now, if you don't take energy drinks now, oh, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Starbucks is going to be your friend. Or the Keurig coffee maker, if you want to save money, which is much smarter, by the way. Don't pay $8 for no coffee at Starbucks when you can pay $8 for like 30 coffee pods at in your Keurig machine. However, there will be some times, remember what I told you about that comfort, there will be times when you choose to study elsewhere. Where is my... Oh, this ain't gonna get it. I need my energy drink. This ain't gonna get it. But hold up now. I'm about to tip over and be talking to myself if I don't get my energy drink. Y'all gonna be talking about me, man, talking about Mr. McGee getting old. Can't stay awake in class. All right, well, this isn't the one I wanted, but it'll sell. Real talk though, seriously. I didn't start drinking coffee until I got into college because, hey, there's going to be some late nights where you got to study and get some work done. And guess what? If you don't finish your studying and if you don't get that work done at night, you're going to have some early mornings. It's going to be some 24-hour nights. The more competitive the degree, the better, but it's a process and it's beautiful and it's worth it. So there's a reason I went into that diatribe about energy drinks. I mean, it just is what it is. To get things done sometimes, Look, if it was easy, everybody could do it. And by the way, I need to, let me see. You said you're going to do, I don't want y'all getting in these degrees that don't pay. My people who are doing trades, I'm going to be honest. Y'all do have a certain type of advantage. I'm going to show you how to leverage it. Number one, you can get a trade in anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 years. So you start making your money faster, and it's cheaper to get a trade. Be careful with these degrees. Some of them, for the price that you're paying to go to college and the student loans you take out and all that good stuff, the trade-off is not worth it because they don't pay enough. Now, for me as an educator, I told you I've been a principal in the past. I had one career lane cut out, and then I realized, okay, I don't want to do that. I'm in what's called the federal loan public service employee repayment program. So in other words, my loans are going to be paid back at a discounted rate because I'm an educator. I'll talk to you more about that. Don't bank on that though, because see, they gave us bad information when we were young. They were just like, oh, you be a teacher, they forgive your loans. It ain't quite that simple. Plus, they have to have funding because those loans still have to be repaid, quote unquote. That's how our financial system works. They can't just say, okay, we're not going to pay people. No, they pay checks out of an account based on what revenue they were bringing in versus their expenses. They can't just get rid of the debt. It doesn't work that way. It's not that simple, but I can tell you what that program is. However, like for example, a liberal arts degree. Don't sign up for liberal arts. That's just a degree that basically says I finished college. So when you go to apply for a particular job, some places are going to say you need this type of degree if you want to earn this type of money. We're not doing liberal arts. We're not going to be an English major unless you're going to be an English teacher. And if you're going to be a teacher, there's paths that you need to take to make sure that your money's right. So like I tell you that I do other activities in our family corporations, in our family businesses. I know that sounds like a big word. A corporation, a corporate setup is not expensive. People just don't understand corporate language. But I do other things to make money besides teach. I just happen to like to teach, and that's a long story in itself. Education is dicey if you don't know what you're getting in it for and how it's going to turn out. If you're going to be an education major, I'll tell you about that. But as far as I know, nobody's thus far has told me, yes, I'm pursuing a degree program that ain't going to pay. If that was the case, I would have told you. So you're okay. But for anybody listening, you need to understand the earning potential of whatever type of career path you're seeking. So the next question on the Google form, what are the entrance/admissions requirements for the 3 institutions you chose? Okay, so let me recap. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Number 1, I need to know inappropriate reasons for choosing a college. I need to know that you know this is not the reason to choose a college. Local options, non-local options, appropriate options for choosing. Let me reorder these questions. That should be up here. And I need you to put your name on this form. Make sure you have your first and last name so I can know whose form this is. And you can print this and you can keep it. Because remember, this is the procedure, or at least a decent procedure, if you decide you want to revisit this information later, since some of you are so young and you have lots of time to possibly change your mind. All right. Okay. If you're going to stay on campus, what are the housing options? Is it only dorms? Can you only stay with a roommate? Is it like Southern where you can't have a vehicle your freshman year? I don't know if they still do that or not. They may not. How long will it take you to graduate? Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, well, 4 years is a 4-year degree. Not necessarily. So, for example, Louisiana Tech is on what you call the quarter system. A quarter of a year is 3 months. So instead of doing semesters, which are 4.5 months, and then the summer, where there are mini semesters or mini-mesters, a quarter is 3 months. So in 2 semesters, you can get like a maximum of 16 credit hours, but you can do a maximum of 12. Yeah, I don't know what a credit hour is yet. I'll explain that to you later. But basically, to make a long story short, you can fit 3 semesters in 1 year plus the summer instead of 2 semesters and the summer. Does that make sense? So a school that's on the quarter system, you can get done in 3 years. A little bit easier than you can at a 4-year institution that's designed on the semester system. You can still do it, but it's a lot harder. On the quarter system, if you go through summer, winter, spring, and fall, you can graduate quickly in 3 years. It's real easy. It's designed that way. How long will it take to graduate? How much does it cost? What scholarship opportunities exist within this institution's application process? Meaning, hey, do they already have a scholarship that you can just apply in one place and pay for everything? Or is it likely that you'll have to apply other places? Look, if you're looking at 2 competitive choices and one makes it easier and they have everything that you're looking for, and the other one's basically going to equate to you having to apply for scholarships in many different ways to be able to pay for it. I mean, okay, if you've done your diligence, your due diligence, you've looked at all your options, okay, who can argue with that? So what scholarship opportunities exist within this institution's application process? As of right now, I think that is fairly comprehensive for what we need. I can't think of anything else. If there is anything else, we'll add it later. So there are 5 questions, but it's going to require you to do some research. Do you have a question, darling? If you have a question, ask.
I have a question. I was wondering, before my English teacher left, he said he's gonna give me like a stack of scholarship. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so I'll show you different sources. Hey, okay. So for anybody who's listening, I'm going to conclude this lesson / lecture / guide through this particular assignment. If you're a student, you can use this information to help complete the assignment. If you're listening because you're tuning in from somewhere else in cyberspace, thank you for listening. Like, share, and subscribe.